Terrorists target oil and gas facilities in Iraq as fears of increased attacks continue to grow leading up to Election Day. A retired four-star Army general has been tapped to assess U.S. operations in the country. Joining us now is retired Command Sergeant Major with the U.S. Army, Steve Greer. Sergeant Major, good to see you. What do you think is going to come out of this trip?
Hey, Bob. How you doing? Yeah, it's interesting that the Secretary would select a gentleman like Gary Lutt, highly regarded as one of our most diverse general officers in recent history. A guy who served in armor units, special forces units, as well as a helicopter pilot in Vietnam, and then he commanded units in Joint Special Operations Command as well as conventional forces. I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a very difficult challenge for General Lutt and his team, because the problem he's going to go into Iraq is, in my opinion, he's going to go in largely unarmed, and he's going to be unarmed in the sense that we have yet to develop a political military objectives for what we're doing inside of Iraq. And I think it's going to be very difficult for him to make any recommendations for change, especially major course change in our strategy, until we define what our objectives are and what the end state is we hope to achieve inside of Iraq. Okay,
let's look at the possibilities after Election Day, assuming they go through January 30th. Sunnis are going to contest the validity of this election. What's the fallout from that?
Well, I think the first thing is that we've got to ensure that from a global perspective, in terms of world opinion, we can't have anybody come out the next day and say that the elections were illegitimate.
But they're going to. They're going to.
You're right.
They're going to, but I guess we have to
disregard that.
Do we have to? We have to disregard that, you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. I think we disregard that. I think the National Assembly has got to step forward and take charge, a 275-person body. They step forward and take charge. I think we then have to develop some sort of disengagement strategy where we pull our military forces outside of places like Baghdad and pull them away from these centers of gravity of our future of Iraq. I think that's a possible strategy.
Let me ask you about this possibility, which I haven't heard a lot about, but it's dangerous, of course, for Sunnis to vote. It's also dangerous for Shiites to vote. It's not that dangerous for Kurds because they control so much of that area of northern Iraq themselves. So what if they turn out in enormous numbers and actually get more political power than the Shias were expected?
Yeah, but I think that's virtually impossible just in sheer numbers alone. I don't think there's enough Kurds that could vote that could actually outdo the number of Shias that may potentially vote, some 60% of the country. I don't think that's really an issue. I think the issue with the Kurds is how Turkey views the Kurds in Iraq and Kurdistan, and whether or not the Kurds can get themselves together and whether they'll continue to try to succeed from Iraq proper or whether they're happy with what happens in the overall election.
Okay, since ideally, of course, everybody wants the Sunnis to feel like they're playing a part in this government, how do you ensure that happens after this election in which the Shiites most likely are going to be a plurality or a majority?
Well, I certainly think they will be the majority. I think the way you assure that is that you've got to reach out immediately following the elections and make sure that everybody who's in Iraq, every Iraqi citizen, understands that the same systems are in place for everybody regardless of your secular beliefs or your religious beliefs, and that the same opportunities such as education, opportunities to lead, infrastructure development, everything is going to be combined and where everybody has the same opportunity for success. If you only focus on the Shia, then you're going to alienate, obviously, the Sunnis as well as the Kurds. So I think the challenge is for the new elected assembly to focus on everybody, try to make everybody happy in a sense. Not an easy task to do. Right. And I also wouldn't discount the fact that there are regional spoilers in the area. The Iranians, the Saudis, the Turkish, the Jordan, the Syrians all have a stake in keeping the democracy being flourished inside of Iraq.
Yeah, everybody trying to fight that democracy, but let's hope democracy wins. Sergeant Major, thank you.
Take care, Bob.
Election Day is